The sound of the alarm broke the silence at 4:30 a.m. The sky was still dark and the streets were quiet. Everyone was sleeping, everyone except Arjun. He sat on the edge of his bed, rubbing his eyes, staring into the empty room. His face looked tired, his mind even more. For a moment, he didn't want to move. His body begged for rest, but something inside him whispered, "Get up. It's time." For the last 3 months, Arjun had been chasing a dream that seemed impossible. He wanted to start his own business, something that could change his life. But every single day felt like climbing a mountain that kept getting taller. He worked long hours, learned new things, sent hundreds of emails, and tried to stay positive. But the results? Almost nothing. His friends didn't understand him anymore. They went out, laughed, and enjoyed life while Arjun stayed home, building something that didn't seem to exist yet. His parents started asking questions too. When will you earn something? How long will this go on? Those words hurt. They echoed in his mind every night. Still, he tried to stay strong. Every morning he told himself, success takes time. Be patient. But as the days passed, his faith started to fade. That morning, he looked at the vision board hanging on his wall. It was full of goals, pictures of success, motivation quotes, and a single line written in bold letters, "Stay focused on consistency, discipline, and mindset every day." He stared at those words for a long time. They used to inspire him. Now they felt like a reminder of everything he hadn't achieved yet. He whispered, "Every day, every single day. But what if it's not working?" He looked at his laptop and his dream machine. It was full of plans, ideas, and failures. He thought about giving up. Maybe he should find a regular job. Maybe this dream was too big for him. He closed the laptop slowly. For the first time, he felt defeated. Just then, a sound broke the silence, a message notification. He opened it without thinking. It was from Mr. Mehra, his old mentor from college. They hadn't spoken in years. The message was short but powerful. Discipline means doing what you must do even when you don't feel like it. Don't stop now, Arjun. You're closer than you think. Those words hit him hard. Closer than you think. Could that be true? He took a deep breath. His heart started beating faster. He stood up, walked to the mirror, and looked at his tired reflection. His eyes were red, but there was still a small spark inside them. The same spark that started his dream months ago. He said quietly, "Maybe I can't see progress, but that doesn't mean it's not happening." He opened his laptop again. He deleted his doubts. He started working, not with excitement, but with discipline. He stopped checking how far he had to go and started focusing on one small task at a time. Minutes turned into hours. The dark sky turned orange. The first sunlight entered the room, touching the pages of his notebook. Arjun didn't stop. He was tired, but he kept moving. For the first time, he understood something. Motivation starts you. Discipline keeps you going. He didn't need motivation every day. He needed consistency. So he made a promise to himself. No matter how I feel, I will show up. Every single day. He wrote it down on a sticky note and placed it on his desk. The day passed slowly. He worked through mistakes, faced problems, and kept learning. There were moments when he wanted to quit again, but each time he looked at that one message. You're closer than you think. At night, he walked to his balcony. The city light sparkled in the distance. He thought about all the people who had already given up on their dreams because results came late. He smiled slightly and whispered, "Not me. Not anymore." He didn't know what was coming. He didn't know that his discipline and consistency were already building a path toward success. Quietly, slowly, but surely. Something was about to happen soon. Something that would test his mindset and patience more than ever before. But that was tomorrow's story. Tonight, Arjun closed his eyes with peace. For the first time in months, he felt proud of himself. Not for what he achieved, but for not giving up. And as he drifted into sleep, the words on his wall glowed under the dim light. Stay focused on consistency, discipline, and mindset every day. Little did he know, those very words would soon become the reason his entire life changed. The next morning came quietly. The air was fresh and the city was just waking up. Arjun sat with his cup of tea, watching the sunlight pour through his window. His mind was calm until his phone buzzed. It was another message. But this time it wasn't from his mentor. It was an email from a small company he had applied to months ago. They wanted to meet him, not for a job, but to discuss a possible business partnership. Arjun couldn't believe it. His hands shook as he read the message again. After months of silence, someone had finally noticed his work. He smiled and whispered, "Maybe this is it. Maybe things are finally changing." He spent the next few days preparing, fixing his presentation, improving his ideas, and rehearsing his pitch in front of the mirror. He slept less, worked harder, and even skipped meals. He wanted everything to be perfect. Finally, the day arrived. He wore his best shirt, took a deep breath, and stepped into the company's office. It was huge, glass walls, busy people, confident faces. He felt small but determined. The meeting started. Arjun spoke clearly, showing his plans, his research, and his goals. He talked about how consistency and discipline had helped him create something meaningful. For a moment, everyone in the room listened quietly. He could see interest in their eyes. But then one of the senior managers interrupted. "This is good," the man said, "but your plan looks too simple." "We need results, not just passion." Arjun froze. He tried to explain more, but the manager kept cutting him off. Another person said, "You've been working on this for months, right? Still no strong outcome?" Their words hit him like cold wind. The same old doubt returned. Maybe he wasn't good enough. Maybe his dream was just a dream. The meeting ended with polite smiles but empty promises. "We'll get back to you," they said. Arjun left the building with heavy steps. The sun felt harsh now, the world louder. He walked to a park nearby and sat on a bench staring at the ground. His phone buzzed again. Another message. This time from his mentor. "Remember, failure doesn't mean you're losing. It means life is testing if you're serious." Arjun read it again and again. The wind blew softly and he felt something shift inside. He realized this moment wasn't the end. It was a test of his mindset. He whispered, "If life is testing me, then I'll show life who I am." That night, instead of feeling broken, Arjun worked again. He changed his plan, learned new strategies, and decided to build something better, not for approval, but for himself. He began to focus on improvement, not perfection. Days passed, then weeks. Slowly, his work began to change. He grew smarter, calmer, and more confident. He stopped checking how far he was from success and started asking, "How can I become better today?" What he didn't realize was that his consistent effort was drawing the right kind of attention. Someone had been watching his progress silently, and soon that person would reach out. But that moment was still coming. It was another early morning. Arjun's desk was full of papers, notes, and ideas. He was tired but focused. His eyes were fixed on the screen when his phone rang. Unknown number. He thought of ignoring it, but something told him to answer. "Hello?" A calm voice replied, "Is this Arjun Sharma? My name is Rahul Verma. I've seen your project online. Can we talk?" Arjun's heart skipped a beat. Rahul Verma was a known entrepreneur, someone Arjun had admired for years. He couldn't believe this was real. Rahul continued, "Your ideas are interesting. I want to discuss how we can work together. Can you meet tomorrow morning?" Arjun almost dropped his phone. "Yes, sir." "Of course." That night, Arjun didn't sleep. He went over every slide, every word. This could be the break he had been waiting for. The next morning, he reached the cafe where they planned to meet. Rahul was already there, calm, confident, and smiling. He greeted Arjun warmly and said, "Tell me your story." Arjun spoke honestly about his failures, his sleepless nights, his doubts, and his discipline. Rahul listened quietly. When Arjun finished, there was silence. Then Rahul said something unexpected. "You remind me of myself years ago. Most people quit when it gets hard. You didn't, that's rare." Arjun's eyes filled with hope. Rahul leaned forward and said, "But before we talk about partnership, I want to test your mindset. You'll work on a new idea, one that will challenge your patience. No help, no shortcuts. You'll have 2 weeks." Arjun nodded, even though he didn't fully understand. "I'll do it." The next 2 weeks were the hardest of his life. The project was complex and confusing. His first few attempts failed completely. He made mistakes, lost data, and felt stuck again. Every time he wanted to quit, he remembered his wall. Stay focused on consistency, discipline, and mindset every day. He worked through the nights, fighting frustration and fear. Some days he felt strong. Other days he wanted to throw everything away, but he didn't. After 2 long weeks, he finally completed the project. It wasn't perfect, but it was real and it worked. He sent it to Rahul with shaking hands and waited. Hours passed. No reply 1 day. 2 days. Still nothing. By the 3rd day, doubt returned. Maybe I failed again, he thought. Then suddenly his phone rang. It was Rahul. Congratulations, he said. You did what 90% of people can't do. You stayed disciplined. Arjun's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, someone had seen his hard work. Not his results, but his consistency. Rahul continued. Let's meet tomorrow. I think we can build something big together. Arjun smiled through the tears. His heart was full of gratitude. This was the turning point, the moment when everything started changing. But life wasn't done testing him yet. Something unexpected was waiting just around the corner. Something that would push his discipline to the edge once again. A few weeks later, Arjun's life finally started to change. He was now working closely with Rahul Verma, the entrepreneur who had believed in him. Together, they were building something new, a digital platform designed to help small businesses grow online. For the first time, Arjun felt like he was walking on solid ground. His days were filled with meetings, planning, and ideas. People started noticing him. He even began to smile again. But as his life moved forward, something unexpected began to happen. Something inside him started to break down. He was working harder than ever before, sleeping less, skipping meals, and ignoring his family. He was chasing deadlines like a machine. The same discipline that once gave him strength was now turning into pressure. One evening, his mother called. "Beta, are you eating properly?" "Yes, Ma, I'm fine," he said quickly, trying to sound calm. But his voice trembled. After the call, he looked around his room. Papers everywhere, empty coffee cups, tired eyes in the mirror. He realized he hadn't smiled genuinely in days. Rahul noticed the change too. During a meeting, he said softly, "Arjun, you look exhausted. Remember what I told you. Consistency doesn't mean destroying yourself." Arjun forced a smile. "I'm okay, sir. I just need to finish this part," Rahul sighed. Success means nothing if you lose yourself in the process. That night, the words echoed in his mind. But Arjun didn't stop. He worked until 3 a.m. again. Then suddenly his laptop screen froze. The project file, his month-long work, got corrupted. Everything disappeared in seconds. He sat frozen, staring at the screen. His hands started shaking. No, this can't be happening. He tried every way to recover it, but it was gone. All his effort, all his nights of work, gone. Tears filled his eyes. He punched the desk in frustration. Why does this always happen to me? Why now? He felt broken. For the first time, he questioned if all this struggle was even worth it. The next morning, Rahul called. Arjun didn't answer. He didn't want to talk. Hours later, Rahul showed up at his apartment. He looked at the mess and said calmly, "So this is what failure looks like, huh?" Arjun didn't respond. He felt ashamed. Rahul sat beside him and said, "You know, when I lost my first company, I thought it was the end. But it wasn't. It was just another test. Life doesn't care about how many times you fall. It cares about how many times you rise." He looked at Arjun and added, "You can restart. The file is gone, but your mindset isn't. That's your real power." Those words hit deep. Arjun closed his eyes and took a long breath. Maybe he couldn't control everything, but he could control his focus, his consistency, and his attitude. He wiped his tears and said quietly, "I'll start again." Rahul smiled. "That's the spirit I saw in you from the beginning." The next few days were hard. Starting over felt painful, but Arjun did it. One step at a time. One line of code, one note, one idea. And slowly, the project came back to life. Months passed. Arjun and Rahul's project finally launched, and it was a success. New clients joined, people appreciated their work, and their ideas started growing faster than they imagined. But success came with new challenges. Arjun began to feel the pressure again, this time from the outside world. Competitors started copying their ideas. People began spreading rumors. Online critics attacked his methods, calling him lucky instead of hardworking. At first, he ignored it. But soon it began to hurt. He would scroll through social media late at night and read comments that burned his heart. Who does this guy think he is? He won't last long. Just another wannabe. Those words followed him everywhere. Even when he was working, they echoed in his head. One night, Arjun couldn't sleep. He stood by the window looking at the city lights. He thought of everything he had gone through. The early mornings, the failures, the long nights. And now when he finally made it, people only saw his success, not his struggle. He felt anger, pain, and disappointment. Why can't people understand how hard I've worked? The next morning, he went to Rahul's office. "Sir, I don't know if I can handle this anymore," he said, his voice shaking. Rahul looked at him silently. Then he said, "Arjun, do you remember the first thing I taught you?" Arjun nodded weakly. "Discipline?" Rahul smiled. "Yes, but not just that. I told you, discipline and mindset. The world will always try to shake your focus. That's when mindset matters the most." He continued, "You can't control what others say, but you can control how you react. Let your work speak louder than their noise." Those words hit Arjun's heart. He realized that the real battle wasn't outside, it was inside. That night he turned off his phone, closed social media, and sat in silence. He opened his old notebook, and the one he started with months ago. Inside it were his first goals, his failures, and his quote, "Stay focused on consistency, discipline, and mindset every day." He smiled softly and said to himself, "I started this journey for me, not for them." The next morning, he returned to work stronger than before. He stopped trying to prove others wrong. He started proving himself right. Weeks later, the same people who once doubted him began to respect him. Not because of fame or money, but because of his unshakable mindset. Arjun had learned the ultimate truth. Discipline builds success. Mindset protects it. He finally understood staying focused wasn't about perfection. It was about never losing your purpose no matter what storms come your way. It had been almost a year since Arjun started working with Rahul. Their project had grown far beyond their expectations. They had clients from different cities, good income, and a small but loyal team. People finally respected Arjun for his dedication. He was living the life he once dreamed of. But deep inside, he knew something was missing. He still worked long hours, but now his mind felt restless. It wasn't the pressure, it was something else. He wanted to do more. He wanted to help others who were walking the same hard road he once walked, alone, confused, and tired. One evening, as he sat in his office looking out at the city, he said softly, "I've built something great. But what's next?" Just then, Rahul walked in. He had a calm smile as always. "Still working late?" he asked. Arjun smiled back. "Just thinking, sir." Rahul sat beside him and said, "You know, Arjun, life doesn't stop after success. That's when the real journey begins. What's going on in your mind?" Arjun hesitated. Then he said, "I want to create something new. A platform to teach people about consistency, discipline, and mindset. I want to share what I've learned. But I'm scared. What if it fails?" Rahul looked at him thoughtfully. "That's the same question you asked when you started your first project. Remember what I told you?" Arjun smiled faintly. "That life tests those who are serious," Rahul nodded. "Exactly. You're being tested again. The question is, will you play safe or will you trust your purpose?" That night, Arjun couldn't sleep. His mind was full of thoughts. If he started a new project, it meant starting again, from zero. More work, more risks, more sleepless nights. But deep down, he knew he had to do it. He looked at his wall. The same line stared back at him. Stay focused on consistency, discipline, and mindset every day. He smiled. "All right, let's begin again." The next morning, Arjun told Rahul his decision. "I'm ready to start something new. I want to build a program that helps people build strong mindsets and discipline." Rahul's face lit up with pride. "Then do it. I'll support you." And just like that, Arjun started his second journey. He began recording short motivational videos, sharing his story online, and teaching people how to stay consistent. At first, nobody watched. His videos got only a few likes, a few comments, but he remembered his old lessons: don't chase results, build consistency. So he kept posting every day, one video, then another. Weeks passed. Slowly, people started noticing. Comments came in like, "Your story inspired me. I was about to quit, but your words gave me strength. Thank you for this." Each message felt like fuel to his soul. He wasn't just building a brand, he was changing lives. One night after posting another video, he sat on the same balcony where he once promised never to give up. The city lights glowed below him. He whispered, This is what I was meant to do. But life wasn't done testing him yet. A few weeks later, a large investor approached him with an offer, a big one. They wanted to buy his program, rename it, and make it part of their own company. The money was huge, enough to change his life forever. But there was a catch. They wanted him to give up his creative control. His voice, his purpose, and everything would belong to them. Arjun was silent. It was the biggest decision of his life. Should he take the money and live comfortably? Or should he refuse and keep his mission alive? The mission to help people through discipline and mindset. Rahul met him that evening. I won't tell you what to do, Arjun, he said. But remember one thing, money can buy comfort, not peace. You have to choose what truly matters to you. That night, Arjun stood again in front of his vision board. He read his own words. Stay focused on consistency, discipline, and mindset every day. He closed his eyes and whispered, My mindset brought me here. My discipline kept me here. I won't sell that. The next morning, he politely rejected the offer. The investor was shocked. Are you sure? You'll never get this chance again. Arjun smiled. I don't chase chances. I create them, one consistent day at a time. It was a bold choice, one that most people wouldn't make. But for Arjun, it wasn't about success anymore. It was about purpose. Months passed since Arjun turned down the investor's offer. Life didn't become easy, but it became meaningful. He worked day and night to grow his program step by step. He wasn't chasing money anymore. He was chasing impact. Every morning he woke up at 4:30 a.m., the same time when his journey had first begun. He still wrote in his notebook. He still looked at the same wall, with the same words shining softly. Stay focused on consistency, discipline, and mindset every day. This time, those words didn't feel like advice. They felt like truth, a truth he had lived. His online videos began to reach thousands, then millions of people. Students, workers, dreamers, people from every corner of the world started following his message. They found hope in his story, a story of a man who didn't give up, even when the world turned its back. One morning, as Arjun sat recording a new video, he received a message from a young boy named Kabir. It said, Sir, I was about to give up on my dreams. I saw your video and decided to try one more time. Now I'm improving every day. Thank you for saving my life. Arjun stared at the message for a long time. Tears filled his eyes. He realized something. He had once been Kabir. He was once the one searching for light in the dark. He smiled and whispered, If my story can save even one life, then all my pain was worth it. As days turned into weeks, Arjun started getting invited to schools and conferences. He spoke about his journey, about waking up early, failing repeatedly, and still showing up every day. His speeches were simple, honest, and real. He didn't talk about shortcuts or luck. He talked about discipline, consistency, and belief. One day after a talk at a university, a student asked, Sir, how did you stay strong when everything was falling apart? Arjun smiled. I didn't stay strong, he said. I stayed consistent. Strength grows from consistency. If you keep showing up, one day strength will find you. The hall went silent. Everyone clapped, not just for his success, but for his truth. That night, Arjun sat in his car watching the stars above. He thought about his younger self, the boy who once wanted to quit, sitting in a dark room, feeling lost. He wished he could go back and tell that boy, don't stop now. You're closer than you think. Life had come full circle. His phone buzzed, a message from Rahul. Proud of you, Arjun. You didn't just build a company. You built people, Arjun smiled. He typed back, You taught me to believe when I couldn't. Thank you for everything, sir. Rahul replied, Now it's your turn to teach others to believe. The message made Arjun think deeply. He realized that discipline was more than a personal skill. It was a gift he could pass on. From that day, he decided to create the Mindset Academy, a place where people could learn how to build strong habits, focus, and mental strength. He started small, teaching just a few people, but soon thousands joined. The academy grew into a movement of people who believed in effort, not excuses. Years later, Arjun stood on a stage, facing a huge audience. The lights were bright, cameras flashing, applause echoing around him. He looked at the crowd, full of dreamers, fighters, believer, and began his final speech. When I started, I had nothing. No money, no support, not even confidence. All I had was belief. I failed many times. I fell, cried, doubted myself, but I didn't stop. Every single day I showed up. I stayed consistent when motivation disappeared. I stayed disciplined when fear grew stronger. And I protected my mindset when the world tried to break it. He paused and looked around. Everyone was silent, listening deeply. "Remember this," he said, his voice firm but warm. "Your future is built on what you do every day, not someday, not once in a while. Every day. Stay focused on consistency, discipline, and mindset. That's not just success. That's freedom." The audience stood up and clapped endlessly. Some cried, some smiled, but everyone felt something powerful awaken inside them. As Arjun walked off the stage, he felt peace in his heart, the kind he had searched for all his life. He finally understood the true meaning of his journey. It was never about reaching the top. It was about becoming the kind of person who never gives up. That night before sleeping, he opened his old notebook one last time. On the first page, there was a single line written years ago. "Stay focused on consistency, discipline, and mindset every day."